Hello, everybody. My name's Milan Starcic. Welcome to Freedom Rising, a podcast dedicated to empowering individuals on the journey to personal growth, lasting serenity, and freedom from addiction. Tune in and join the movement. Your journey to freedom starts here. We neither represent, promote, or demote any 12-step program or organization. We are merely souls on the path of recovery with the desire to expand our lives and experiences and share them with you. God, grant us the serenity to accept the things we cannot change, the courage to change the things we can, and the wisdom to know the difference.
Just for today.
Hello, everybody.
What's up, guys?
Welcome to the 122nd Freedom Rising podcast. I'm Milan Starcic with co-hosts Andrew Norman and Brandi S. I love you guys. And, you know, it fits that today's topic is sincerity because I sincerely love you both. So could you share what this topic means to you, Andrew, and why you were happy to come discuss this here today?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, I can. And I would love to, man. I'm excited about today. It's good to see both of you. I love you both very, very much. Sincerely. So look, when I looked at, so I don't really do the looking up the definition, but I did on this one because this is one of those ones that doesn't get the spotlight really ever. I don't really see this coming up as like a topic, and that might be because it bleeds into a lot of other ones. But I looked up the definition, and it's defined as the quality. So sincerity defined as the quality of being free from pretense, deceit, or hypocrisy. So then I'm going, what do those words mean? Right. So I even went one layer of that. So pretense, an attempt to make something that is not the case appear true. Right. So you're trying to make something that is not the case or that is true. Deceit, the art or practice of deceiving someone or concealing the truth. And then you got hypocrisy, the practice of claiming to have moral standards or belief when one's own behavior does not conform. So that layers this thing up, man. For me, I was really able to dive deep on that part of it. When you read into words here, we throw around these big words, just all these big words, right? I have discernment, I have all these things, and a lot of us fly right through it because it just becomes part of the general conversation. And when we really, and that's why I love this podcast, because we can really break these words down and really understand what they mean. Because, there's not like three spiritual principles we try to live by. We hear certain words, honesty, we hear those ones that we hear a lot, but sincerity is one we don't really hear a lot. That specific term, right? So I think of sincerity as like the raw truth, like with your heart truth, right? That truth that comes from within that can't be denied, right? Like even when you want to lie, like the truth comes out. And it's being real. Like when you're being real, you're being sincere. Like you can sincerely come to the table when you're being honest, like deep down with every fiber of what you are. When my words, right, my actions and my spirit align, right? Like when I feel connected to myself, mind, body, and spirit, and they're all moving in the same direction. Before I do whatever I'm doing something with sincerity at that part. Like I'm not dragging one of those three along, right? I'm not dragging one of those three parts of me along to the show. Like, come on, man, this is gonna be a great time. Just get your ass up and we'll get you here. No, it's like we're all like we're front seat driving, right? We're all driving the car. And so when my intentions, when my actions, when I'm authentic in my relationships, when I'm genuine in my intentions, when I'm being real with myself, and not only myself, but my network, because my network can't help me if I'm not coming to the table with a sincere attitude, especially when it's uncomfortable, all that in the face of being uncomfortable, because as an addict, I'm always uncomfortable, especially when I start getting in here. Everything y'all are telling me is uncomfortable to me. It doesn't sound right to me. But y'all being as sincere as y'all are, right? The group being a bigger number and a higher power, if anything else, right? Like trusting that a higher power, something bigger brought this group to be able to give this message to you, and their sincerity in numbers Like if you're in a place to hear it, like it'll take over you. You know, if you're in a position to be able to receive that message and we're able to receive
Yeah.
some help and want to do that for yourself and want to find a God, you know, all that kind of stuff. So pass that to you, Brandi. Love you both.
I love you. I looked it up because I think even some of the most simple words, like you said, it gets thrown around so easily. And I don't know if I've ever said it besides, in recovery, yeah, but said it in a way where like I remembered being so sincere. And so but it says here like in touch with one's truth and their honest shows. And that's what it is. Like what you see is what you get. It's not oh man, yeah. I'll get into it more in the podcast. Like I have abused that word sincere. I fully.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
one of them, I had to put your name next to it, Andrew, because it was just too good. It says sincere person is able to acknowledge, accept, and lead with love. And I was like, oh, I better put Andrew's name next to that one.
Yeah.
But
Thank you.
just like building trust with people, because when you're sincere and you're able to be, there's nothing to hide behind. There's nothing to no mirage to keep going. It's what it is, and it's your true self, and I think that it can be something where it's such a blessing to be able to speak with your true self forward, instead of whatever this person needs me to say, I'm going to say. Whatever they think I need to be passionate about, I'm going to be passionate about it. Instead, it's what it is, and it doesn't mean you're people pleasing. It means that you are in tune with yourself, and I thought that was really special. It made me look at the word sincere or sincerity way different than I did, earlier yesterday. And so it's what was this other one was not people. Oh, acting and speaking honestly and genuinely. And that's so different today than when I was in active addiction. And so I love this topic for that reason, because these are parts that I have gained in my recovery that maybe don't get as much light as like gratitude, like you were saying, Andrew, like other words that are all over in the meetings and just, the ones that come front and center. But sincerely is a beautiful one. It really is. So I'll leave it there.
That's beautiful.
I love both of your intros there, and I had every intention of looking it up, and I sincerely forgot to.
You usually are the one that does.
I know.
You're the one that usually does.
I know, but you know what though is
Awesome.
I got really caught up
great, bro.
in the philosophy of it. Like I never
Yeah.
actually got to the computer, because what happened is I started thinking about, like sincerity versus honesty, right? And and it's kind of like when Mike K was on here, and he was talking about, he's like, I could be honest with you, but not truthful. And it's like, I can be honest about things and not sincere. It's much
Yeah,
much like
whoa.
that. And so then it was like, I was thinking to myself, like one of the things that really for myself, I try to check myself on, but I need to check myself on, is my sincerity and my service. Like when I'm
Yeah,
saying I'm
yeah,
helping you, am I helping you because it makes me feel good? Am I helping you because it's a people pleaser thing? Like where is the
yeah,
sincerity
Control.
in
Yeah.
that? Yeah, like and so, you know, I think that sincerity and honesty, like they're friends, but they are far from identical twins.
yeah.
You know,
They're cousins.
Yeah, they're cousins. It's like, oh, I can tell you guys got the same nose, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
What up, cuzzo? What up, cuz?
But it's it goes really deep, because I don't think that I've ever had a time in my life where I sincerely knew who I was. And then I had no way of actually sincerely being my authentic self. And it's really there's a lot of growing pains with my friends and lovers and family for that to occur, for that transition to go from like extreme lying people pleasing person to here's Milan, take him or leave him. Like that,
Yeah.
that is,
Yeah.
the growing pains are not sorted out on that, even after this point. Like, and I'm not sure, like, I'm not sure if, and I don't want to, this isn't like a program's better than not program, but I'm not sure if somebody not in the program will ever actually get that. Like, will actually ever be working on themselves to the level where they come to that crossroads where it's like sincere me and lose people like
Yeah.
for sure, like some people are just not going to like or not be happy with what's going on inside me compared to who I was, because I was really good at fabricating a reality for you that you like.
Yeah.
Like I could
Yeah.
sculpt it, man. I could sculpt
I
it
was good
in
at that.
color. Like it was just like, man, people were so happy with that sometimes.
Hmm.
Like they were so, and now, you know, it's not that I'm intentionally trying to make somebody else unhappy, but I'm not doing it I'm not making their happiness at the expense of altering reality.
Yeah.
For
Yeah, it's a great point.
Yeah.
It's a great
Hmm.
point.
So like I feel like this is a really good one. Like when Andrew sent out the options and I was just like that one, that one.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And Brandy was like me. I sincerely love you guys and I'm
Yeah.
in.
Yeah.
That's why when I sent him out like I sandwiched sincerity in between the other two, and I was
I
really
didn't even see
juicing.
the other two. I
I
could
was
not tell you what they
that's
were
funny.
right
I
now.
don't
I
remember
was
what they are now.
That's so funny. I was juicing on the other two, like on sincerity with the other two, and I'm like, I hope they pick this one. And it was like you came right out with it, and I was like, yes, yes, yes,
That's
yes.
funny.
But and that's funny. Well, and real quick, as an addict, I think that you brought up a great point, man. It made me think about it. Like we have so many of these. Like this is the time we're gonna do it. This is when we're really gonna do it. And we let ourselves down so much that word sincerity, after we come out of that so many times, to finally be where like us three are right here, that
Hmm.
word means it takes on a whole nother level, man. This word,
Mm.
Yeah.
that's word sincerity, because sincerely, I was not sincere back then, ever.
Yeah.
Like, and
Yeah.
like, and you could like I will be bold faced right in front of you, telling you completely what I need you to hear every
Yep.
time.
It's like using the word honestly. It's like using the word honestly or sincerely. They have very
Don't
little
mean any, it
weight for
doesn't
a
mean
post,
anything.
like for post addiction.
It means nothing.
Like
Yeah.
it really is like we have to sincerely act that way.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
and even actually, no, take the word act out of it. We have to sincerely be that way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a
Because if we're still
commitment.
acting,
Yeah.
it's not sincere.
It's a
Yeah. Because
commitment.
that's a good point. Because I was acting the whole time.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know.
yeah,
But even now,
yeah.
if it's acting, it's not sincere. It's
It,
actually
Yeah.
being.
this
Like
is
it's like,
literally a commitment to ourselves and to being that way. Because once you
yeah,
start being
Yeah.
that way, you can't like go into like you can't be walking around
this
being
is
like I'm
like
an
a
honest
good
person telling
frying
lies.
pan right now. I love
Yeah,
this one. It's
bro.
sizzling.
Walking around Tweedle like, yeah, man, I'm an honest ass person, lying out your mouth. Like you can't do that. Like it
Yeah.
doesn't work, right?
Yeah.
So
I used
cool,
to be
man.
like, I'm honest, but I wasn't honest about drugs. So like, I was like, I
See
thought
who
myself to
you
be an
are
honest
when no one's
person.
around. See who
Yeah.
you are
Yeah.
when no one's
Yeah.
around.
Yes.
Yeah.
And if you
I was
couldn't
gonna.
say words, like your actions, what are they? You know?
Yeah. What makes me always makes me go back and think about what would someone say. I think you said, Andrew, like if you were to leave the room, or would describe you in one word or something. I
Yeah,
don't remember what you said
if
now.
someone could not hear any of the words that come out of your mouth and could only see your actions, what kind of person would they
Yes.
say you are?
Yes. I gotta remember that because I think
Yeah.
about that.
They're all right here. All you gotta do is tap that. They're right there all the
Yeah.
time.
You got
Yeah.
a good
Yeah.
file system, man. You got a good file
Right.
system.
I have people in a meeting be like, I need to get a little black book of all of Andrew's sayings. I think Sydney said that, and then someone
Right.
was like, I already
Right.
do. Then the other person
Yeah.
like was in the meeting was like, I already do. What are you late to the party? So all
Right.
right, I'm ready. You ready for questions going around?
Yep.
Yeah.
I love
Yep.
the look. I got some good questions too. I'm super excited about this, man.
Me
I
too.
don't know. I don't know. It's like crazy. So when in my recovery, Brandy, did you first realize the importance of sincerity?
I thinking about it. I think there was probably some moments, but the very first I could really think of was when I was in treatment, and I went there for one thing and not everything else, and I had no intention of quitting other. And this girl had told me that the stuff you buy in the store, but weed, whatever. And her daughter had some issues at birth because of it. And I was like, well, that's not my problem. I mean, like, I'm still going to do that when I get out. Sorry about, whatever. I was very arrogant, I guess you'd say. And without even saying anything to anybody else, I went back to my room and I thought, and I was like, that was so insensitive. And it was, and when I went, so I saw her the next day and I said something to her and I was like, that was really not okay for me to say to you. And a bunch of other words in there. But the point is that I meant what I said to her. Like I'm sorry, like I sincerely felt bad. Like I thought about it to myself, and I probably wouldn't, I'll probably never see her again. It would have, I could have just kept going on and not even worrying about it. But I felt it so much. It was like, I couldn't, I'm like, I got to say something like, and that was probably one of like the realest things I was able to say to somebody, especially it was uncomfortable because I was acting like, I was just very naive. I didn't realize that I was an addict of more and not one thing. And with that kind of just like, I probably wouldn't even looked at it as sincerity at the time, not until we're here talking about it. But it was how I really felt, it was truly, I was wanting to be as transparent, as genuine, as authentic as I could be because I wanted to do things differently. And again, I probably went on not even thinking the times I was being sincere, I was being sincere. Like I think that the words doesn't get enough credit, But when it came to being with my sponsor and understanding that like to myself that I want to be as transparent as I can be. Like I don't want to be be fake. And I deal with that today. Like there's some people I like that, long story short, that in my family that I don't want to really affiliate with because I don't want to be fake. And I don't want to be rude. So I sincerely don't want to talk to them right now. And I'd rather do that than be something I'm not. And throughout my time so far, and I know it's to keep going, being able to be sincere, I think about the moments before going, wow, I guess I've been sincere for a while now. Because when you lie for so long, like I can't, like lies taste like crap. Like if I say it, it's just like I need some mouthwash or something because I can't do this. I can't do this anymore.
It's like kissing morning breath.
Yeah, totally. So it's something where I feel like I can look back and think about the times and it's who I am today. I'm not just like a certain, way when I need something or certain people. Like it really is who I am, what you see. And I'm grateful for that. I'm so grateful for that. So all the moments, I mean, I can't say first really because I feel like I'm rediscovering it all the time. Today, in most recent couple of years, like I get it, I definitely get it, but I still get this feeling like that felt good because it's different. It's different when I'm able to not like say something that would like I'm not like purposely offending anybody, but I'm be able to speak myself, my truth, and be able to portray that as I'm going about. That's so cool. It's so cool. I didn't know I would ever stop being a liar or I can still people please sometimes, but in a healthy way. And so I didn't think that I would ever change as much as I did. And being sincere is a huge key to it. It really is. And so I'll leave it
That's
there.
beautiful. You're working a program, Brandi. You're able to see that thing, getting that people pleasing thing. You're like, oh shit, I don't want to like have to do paperwork on that. I don't want to have to like.
Yeah.
I don't want to have
Right?
to call
That's
somebody that
The
really loves
paperwork
me.
takes
That's so
forever.
funny.
Fuck you.
I don't want
I
to do
don't wanna-
paperwork on it.
I
I
don't
like
want to
that. That's
bleed another
funny.
pen out to
That's
nothing.
one
I
of
don't
my
wanna-
favorite things I've heard in a while. I don't want to do paperwork
Yeah,
on
it
that.
is. Yeah, I don't want to do paperwork on it. I like that.
Paperwork sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
All right, Mr. Milan, you ready?
I'm ready. Wait.
When did you, sir, in your recovery, first realize the importance of sincerity, true sincerity?
So I've told my story on the show so many times, I'm not sure if anybody listening has ever not heard it. But, when I woke up from pretty much dying in the hospital there the next day, I was kind of gifted with the feeling that things had changed. And so I went to treatment 12 days later. But I had to shake it hard at home for those 12 days. First of all, you couldn't go, like, it wasn't a detox place and a treatment. You know what I mean?
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And anyway, it was good because I really had limited money. It was one you had to pay for. And I was glad that I kind of got a little bit clear headed. I knew people who showed up and wasted like $6,000 worth of treatment dollars
Because they weren't ready.
lying in bed, right?
Yeah.
But anyway, for me, in that 12 days while I was shaking it hard at home, I finally, after like day 4 or 5, I started unpacking my stuff from the trip. My friends had packed my stuff after that night, and lo and behold, thunk, I come across a bag, and so it was just like I immediately dumped it out into the toilet. That first, like, I found another thing after I came back from treatment, which was another test. I feel like I had the
I
pre-test.
remember you
and the after.
talking about that one. I remember
Yeah,
that one.
but before I
Yeah.
left, there was one, and I dumped that out. And I remember thinking to myself that like this is it. If I'm doing this, then I don't want this here ever again, you know. And then when I got to the treatment center, and like it was like launch into the steps. Here you go. You start writing right away. Like they don't leave you idle. I don't know where you guys were, but they were like, there's the morning and here's the night. We're gonna fill it.
Yeah.
Like it was like
Yep.
I'm like, when am I
Yeah.
gonna nap? They're like, shut up and work.
Yeah. Oh, my schedule was full. Yeah.
Downtime is no bueno.
Yeah, but and so I remember looking at step 1, and it was just like I didn't have holes in step 1. Like I really felt like step 1, when I looked at it, I was like, I am 100% powerless, and my life is completely unmanageable now. Like I just, they get you to write out your last 90 days. That's the first thing you write out when you get there. And like, I just like writing out the insanity and how, and they were like, really focus on how you felt, because they want you to be able
Yeah.
to read that later and go back to hell. Right. And for me, it was just like writing that out. There was no question of manageability. Like it was like this is just like absolute insanity and hellacious and like there would be like 30 seconds of fun for a week of hell. Like that was the trade. So
Yeah.
I felt like, for step 1, there was just a sincerity there. When I started, initially moving into the other steps, I don't think that they were as complete as step 1 right away. But for sure, it was step 1. There was an absolute sincerity on that. And then, I think that whether I could say that the steps happened 100% the first time, I was sincerely trying my hardest for them to.
Yeah.
Like there was a genuine sincerity to do this right.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't like, oh, I think I kind of want to be straight. I was like, I'll do whatever I can to the best of my ability right now. Like I feel like the set of steps, just joined a step working group that started Tuesday. It's a 12-week thing. I feel like this is going to be deeper. It's going to have to
Yeah.
be deeper, because it's just like I peeled some onion, and I don't have any regrets over that first one. I sincerely have no regrets over that, because it changed my life. But
Yeah.
but
It's crazy.
but it wasn't all I'm ever going to get out of the program.
Yeah. Yeah, this thing is never ending. That's a beautiful
Yeah.
answer. And it seems like that was that point
More
where
will be revealed.
yeah, more will be revealed. And then that, it seems like we're in survival mode to keep drugs in our system until we turn that switch, which is like that switch for you, Milan. And now you're in survival mode where like I need this program. Like because I'm not it's like
I'm dying.
you're awake.
Literally.
Yeah, you're dying. You're dying. I'm
Yeah.
dying. Bro,
I was
I'm
like,
dying.
how many times your heart going to restart? I don't want to find out.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Like,
Yeah, that's
Right?
wild.
Like I'm just like, I know it stops between every beat for all the technical people out there, but
Yeah.
it's
No
not the
need to
same
go
thing.
there. Yeah. That's funny. That's funny. All right, cool. So that was beautiful. Both of y'all had me like Brandi almost had me tearing up just because I'm sincere with my emotions and shit now. Like I can tap into those emotions and not be like put up that barrier, right? It's just beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. So when did I in my
Yeah.
recovery realize the importance of sincerity? as I started thinking about that question, and I've referenced this time in my recovery a lot here lately, that 2 to 3 month period where I was getting that new job, and I was freaking out a little bit, man, because I don't know if y'all can relate, but that 90-day period, man, is like a hairy time where, like, that's when all the drugs are really getting out of our bones and shit, right? Like they're like
Yeah.
we've sweated it out. We're starting to really sweat that stuff out, eat it, drink it, whatever out. And I remember sitting in meetings really in an uncomfortable way, and I hadn't really shared. You come to meetings as a newcomer, and if you haven't been in the rooms before, which I hadn't really been in the rooms, I had been to some in-person meetings because I had to be there for court or whatever. But actually being in these rooms to try to live and not die, like, and not go back to that place,
Yeah.
right?
A life or
Um,
death.
it's like you don't know what to throw in, and you don't really have much to offer. You feel like you have nothing to offer, especially not sharing, right? Like, you don't want to talk at all. I didn't. And I would hear these people talking, and you got the Seans of the world that are just so
Hmm.
eloquent with their talk. Like, it was
I
especially
don't
in an
like going after
in-person
that guy.
meeting. I don't like going after any of them. In an in-person meeting, there's so many of them around, and you can't see everybody, and it's like, I don't want to have Godzilla stand up before. Like, I don't know what the hell's going on here. So I'm
Yeah.
damn sure not going to open my mouth. And I remember that 60 to 90 days, I'm getting my job. I'm starting to realize what this program can do for me, and that this can be a way of life. But I'm hearing that, like, honest sharing is the antidote to our disease. Thinking, share about everything, use about nothing. And I hadn't shared about shit. So
Yeah.
I remember because I was a literature guy from the beginning. I would read these books, and I remember just trying to come in and read like speak the literature, right? But I'm a
Yeah.
newcomer, and I'm raw, and I'm not really, you can see that when you got somebody who's like, and that's where they're at, and I love them because
Yeah.
I was that person. I
Yeah.
remember I remember there was one specific meeting that I was sitting there, and there were people that were talking, and they were really just going through hell, man. I'm not talking about, like, I think this one specifically, like, somebody was talking about how they lost their son like a month or two before that, how he was shot, murdered, killed, and that's the last thing she wanted to do was use one of those deals. And I remember, like, tearing up the whole time, and I was getting ready to share because it was a smaller meeting. Uh, and I remember getting ramped up for my share, my normal share. Right, my name's Andrew. I'm a grateful recovering addict. Blah blah blah. Wax poetic. And I remember right when I started my share with that shit, something took over me, man. I remember something taking over me. And I remember because I had been in a time, like, I didn't want to go to my job interview. I wanted to use drugs. I didn't tell nobody, but, like, I wanted to use. That was the time where I really wanted to go back. Not that I wanted to go back out. I didn't want to go back out. My disease was taking over.
Yeah.
Um,
You got to
and
learn how to live
um,
all over
and
again.
bro, I was sitting there, and I started doing that, and I just started crying. Like, I just started crying, and I remember just being like, the only thing I could say was, my name is Andrew, and all I wanted to do for the past few days is use drugs. Um, and it changed it for me. It changed everything for me because I realized, like, it's not about performing. We're not performing here.
Yeah.
We're not. This is not. There's no rank. It's not a merit system, right? Like anybody belongs here, man. If you want to get off drugs, you want to save your life, like, you want to make yourself better, like, and you don't even have to want to make yourself better. You just have to have the desire to stop using drugs, which will
Yep.
make you better.
Yep.
But that's all you need. So I remember and that's all I could say. That's all I could say. And I remember people coming up to me, like, I remember one dude, like, tearing up next to me, and I remember people came up to me after that meeting, telling me how they needed to hear that, like and how I kept them clean that night because in my little baby ass story, like, I just wanted to use drugs, but I was sincere, right? So it allowed their
Yeah.
hearts to connect with me because I was actually being honest with people. I was actually telling the truth about where I was right then. It ain't about what you think everybody needs to hear.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
not where the hit comes in here. The hit comes in is when you go, my name is Andrew. I'm an addict. I have 90 days clean, and I called my dealer today, and I'm glad he didn't pick up because I wanted to use drugs, and I've wanted to use drugs for the past 3 days. and I don't know what to do. That right there did more for me than anything I shared the past 3 months up until that point. It did more for me in my soul and in my heart when I had people telling me like, bro, I needed to hear that. And I'm like, what? Just that I wanted to use drugs? I'm an addict. Of course I want to use drugs. And like, no, bro, I needed to hear that.
Yeah.
It's
Really,
beautiful,
but
man.
what you said was beautiful. You know, I'm an addict. I've been clean 90 days and I want to use. I called my dealer, didn't
I
answer.
don't know what to
Like
do.
all that right there is such a beautiful thing because a lot of people, I mean, not a lot of people, but it doesn't get said sometimes, you
No.
know, people don't share that kind of stuff.
No.
And uh, so it's just such a beautiful, it's like, you know, this sentence that means so much. Yeah.
It's beautiful, man. It
Mhm.
you know, changed things for me at that point. And I no longer like was like trying to do this thing. Like I'm tearing up thinking about it because it changed my
Yeah.
life, man. It changed my
Yeah.
life. It made me realize like that's what they say when they say this is the antidote to our disease. Thinking is like all you need to do is tell us where you're at, right? Because we've all been there, and I might give somebody else the courage to do that same thing and save their life.
Mhm.
Like something like it's crazy, and I'm not doing anything but just telling you where I'm at.
Yeah.
You know, being
I used
sincere.
to always be so afraid that my share wasn't going to be as good as the pump version before, or I'd share last so I could listen to everybody. And even like when I did like a main share, until I realized that like I just share my truth. I just share who I am, where I'm at. I
Yeah.
don't have to have been here or there or lost that in order to have a genuine share. This is not a show.
Yeah, it's not, man. It's not.
I was
Yeah.
sitting beside the speaker at this roundup I went to in April, and I said, "Are you ready?" She's like, "It's my story. I'm always
Yeah.
ready."
Oh
Like
yeah,
I
that's
don't
how.
even,
that's
I pray
beautiful.
before and that's it. I don't even,
Yeah.
I call my
yeah.
sponsor. He prays me in every speaking
Yeah.
engagement I have, and I started thinking about this. If you hadn't hit that spot, like, and that was another thing that turned for me when somebody asked me to be the main share, and I know I've got to share for like 40 minutes, 45 minutes or something, and you have no choice whether to get sincere. You can't fluff 45 minutes, bro.
I
Like,
know.
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
hard to fluff.
my first share was 45 minutes in person. And I was like, dang,
My first share
all
was
right, all
45
right.
minutes in front of the national the blind and what is it, the national deaf and blind seeing society. There's
Wow.
250 people there, and I had translators doing my what I was saying
Real.
in sign language to another interpreter in over like 40 countries.
Whoa.
Wow.
Crazy. Sean,
That's talk
Sean
about
was
Wow.
getting
fucking
thrown to the
nuts.
lions for a
Bro,
first
I've
one.
got it on. I've
Yeah.
got it on record. I've got it recorded. It's crazy. It's wild. I
That's
was talking
great
about edging
though.
got out, and the lady who was doing the sign language goes something, and she went, and I went, and I looked at her. I remember looking at her. I'm like, edging got out, and then I said it again, and she doubled down on and I'm like, oh. Should I have not said
Wow.
that? Because it was just that was how she meant edging God, like killing God. I don't know. That
Yeah.
was crazy.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah, like translators make it dicey.
Wild, bro.
Yeah.
Like
It's like
translators,
one
it's
translating
like,
to the other one, and then
You're
it's
like,
like
I
in a
didn't say
different
that.
country. It's like in a
Yeah.
different country translating from English to this country to that country,
yeah,
translating
it finally comes through. You're like, F God, I'm out of here.
bro. There were these certain
operator.
audio parts for like people who were blind, and then there was visual aspects for people who were deaf. It was wild, bro.
That is. That's cool though. That is cool.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, man.
You got a question for me, Brandi?
I do. I do.
I love you guys.
Okay. Love you. That was great. That was a great round right there. What
feel
role
better.
does I know, right? We're done. We can go home
Let's
now.
go.
Oh wait, we are home. What role does what role does sincerity play in your recovery journey today?
Hold on, could you repeat that? I was dancing to how
That's
awesome
okay.
that last round was.
What role does sincerity play in your recovery journey today?
Wow. Well, I think that it's something that I'm trying to apply to showing up my authentic self. Like I really feel that right now, if I thought about like a turmoil or a thing that I need I need to make sure that I'm doing is showing up as really me. Like
Yeah.
just being really me and being honest about how I'm feeling in a situation, but like sincerely trying to be mindful of my communication to others, because it's you can sincerely want to be yourself and be a dick, you know, like
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I'm
So
like, whoa,
easily,
you're so
really.
truthful, you're so truthful that you're mean, like
Yeah.
that's you know, like, but you also have to have like some compassion and some consideration for other people, right? Like,
Yeah.
you know, you have to be real for you without hurting others is kind of, you know, that live and let live, really, that you see at all the meetings and stuff, you know, like there's a reason that's one of the big slogans around live and let live, because really how I choose to be, if I'm not hurting someone else, should be allowed, but it shouldn't be at the
Yeah.
expense of other people.
Yeah.
You know,
Beautiful.
you know, when I was saying about being a people pleaser and being a liar and how that is affecting relationships now, right? Like it's really about being me without just dropping them off a cliff.
Mm,
You know,
yeah.
and sometimes that takes communication. Like sometimes that takes the communication of saying, "Hey, you know, I used to be like this. I'm not like that now. I don't feel comfortable doing that because of this." And
Yeah.
explaining, you know, like sometimes there is an explanation that is really a courtesy to give somebody to explain why things are different. Because like for somebody who's not like toe to toe with you in the program, they're like, "What's up?" Like,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
they're like, "What happened? That was something, you know, that was part of your role in our relationship that I liked." And I'm, you know, and I'm like, "Sorry, I can't do that, but this is what I can offer." And just,
Yeah.
you know, I think that communication in the midst of growing pains, you know, is really key, or things just aren't going to change fairly, not fairly, but like I just think that we have to be nice. If we're changing, it should not be at the expense of others.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. You can't just be rolling
100%.
around with the blame thrower behind you, like rolling
yeah,
through the world, like blame throwing
Yeah.
your ass off.
yeah. I'm like
Right. This
Rocket
is who I
Man, but
am.
Hey, I feel good. What's happening? Where's
Right.
everybody at?
I'm looking
Where's
forward.
everybody at? Where's everybody at? Oh, y'all were chill with me. I thought everybody liked me.
Yeah. I thought everybody liked me. Peace.
I hate the literature.
Yeah.
I'll take that question.
Okay. What role does sincerity play in your recovery journey today?
Man, I mean, it's everything. I mean, it's everything in terms of if I'm gonna be doing this thing for all the right reasons, have that goodwill in my life, like being sincere, being a sincere person, right? It's really about the alignment of my heart and my mouth.
Mm,
Right, it's the alignment of those two, because a lot of times my heart can feel certain ways, and then when it comes out of my mouth, it means nothing like what my heart was feeling.
yeah.
Right, Manta, I
Yeah.
agree.
He's like,
Right,
I'm with you.
woo. He's
Is
like,
that what
bro,
that
he's like, bro, get that shit in line. So you know, it's when I speak, not just because I have to, but because I mean it, right, Manta,
Mhm.
again.
Yeah. He's digging it.
That's so
Let's
funny.
go. So like it's show look, it's you know, not speaking just because like I have to in a situation, or if I'm in a situation and everybody's being quiet, me just opening my mouth to open my mouth. You know, I'm opening
Mhm.
my mouth because I mean what I'm getting ready to say. Um you know, that puts more stock in what I'm saying too, right? And it allows me to be more confident with what I'm talking about. Look,
Yeah.
in this the love part, it's allowing me to show love because I feel it, not just because I feel like I'm supposed to in a situation, right? Like if I feel love for you in a certain situation, I'm going to let you know about it, and y'all both know that. Like I'm going to
Yeah.
show you in some way that I think your love language, whether it's opening a door for you, whatever it is in that situation, not in a weird way, but just in a human being kind of
Yeah.
spiritual, loving way, because that's the one for me. Love is the answer. Love
Yeah.
is the answer. And so if I feel that love, I'm going to do that loving act. I'm not going to go, hey, how am I going to love that person right now? How do
Yeah.
I need to force my love on that person? So that comes with sincerity, right? If I came into this situation where I'm sitting at this desk right now and I came here in a sincere fashion leading up until now, I'm more apt to flow right through that again, right? Stay sincere. I really like this topic. I think I'm going to start using this word a lot, and it's not like it's going to be tattooed on my face, but it's not surrender, but it's beautiful. Sincerity, man.
Yeah.
Sincerity.
I think it's muy importante.
Bro, it's not about looking good. It's about being real, guys. It's not about
Yes,
sounding good.
100%,
It's not about sounding good. It's about being real. Like being real allows us to cut through all those masks that we wear. Man, we wear a lot of masks coming in here. But I'm telling you, bro, so many.
Yeah.
Masks, wigs, colorful outfits. Bro, it's not about that, right? It's saying that I don't know, and that I'm vulnerable, saying I'm struggling, coming to the table just being like, look, I'm not, I'm 3 years clean, but I'm fucking struggling today. That is being real. That is being sincere. And our words, man, our words are powerful, right? For us, for everybody else. Like, words have the power to change your life and somebody else's life. Just your words can change the path of your life, because it's about talking to yourself positively, right? It's all of that. It ain't about just saying, hey, I am fast and strong, and then you become fast and strong. It's about being impeccable with our words. Mean what you say what you mean, right? It can change your life. It might change a lot of people's lives around you, man, and you won't even know it. You never know how far your reach goes. I say that on here a lot too. You never know how far your reach goes. Do not something nice. Say something nice from your heart for somebody today. Because they feel it, man. Whether you think it's supposed to happen or not, if it comes from your heart, bro, it's going to make a lot of impact on whatever that situation is. I can guarantee you.
And people notice when you're sincere,
You can
especially
tell.
if you go from not being sincere to all of a sudden anew.
The quiver in the voice, man.
Yes.
When someone comes in and they just start sharing, and like the first word, it's like the bullshitometer's going off or not.
Yeah.
I
Like
stop
sometimes
what
somebody
I'm doing.
just comes in and they're like, and there's just that little shake in there where they're shaking something hard inside themselves.
I stop what I'm doing. Everything I'm doing, I stop it and I just listen and I watch. Or, whatever I'm doing. If I'm cleaning the house, I stop, because I'm got to get tapped into that, because that's the dope I look for. That's why I come to meetings.
But that's also the person that needs us to hold that space by listening.
They don't even know it.
Like, Oh, I think maybe they subconsciously know it. That's why they're at the meeting sometimes.
Yeah, man. But they won't be able to fully grasp it until they're like out of there and they feel good and they're like, wow,
the
that was
impact.
great.
And Brandi?
All right, I'm gonna ask myself, what role does sincerity play in my recovery journey today? Just thinking about this, like I'm known to be quite the talker. I don't like awkward silence.
No.
Yeah, I don't like awkward silence. I'll talk about anything really, but I find that like in the short period of time I've been clean, the more sincere I've become, the less I have to fill those voids. Or if I'm gonna conversate something that I would once before completely elaborate this big lie for, I can say it in one sentence. And those are just things I noticed that I still like to talk a lot, but but it's about a subject instead of like, I'm trying to confuse you so you don't even remember what we're talking about. Like, I was really good at that.
Word vomit.
Yeah, big time. I've gotten jobs that way before, but when it comes to like my role today, like it's important for me to be sincere with myself, and definitely like I feel like I've been able to be like pretty transparent and sincere in my program from the get-go, because I was such a hot mess with multiple masks. I used to say I was a sugar-coated hot mess, but when I'm able to be sincere I'll say with my husband more than anything. Like those are ways like that's important to my recovery, because he's a big part of it because he's the one that I did the most of the lying to. And so today, like when I work my program and I am sincere and I'm able to pick apart certain parts of myself that maybe I want to work on. When I'm sincere with him, it just makes the relationship so much stronger. And I can't speak for him, but for someone that was lied to for so long, it took a little bit for him to kind of to see it, but it was like me being able to work on myself is like showing him like this is how I really want to be. Like I want to be as transparent and as authentic as I can be. So if it does, I think right now maybe even it's like shining brighter at home, but it's all worked into my recovery. My home life and how I function at home. If that's not going good, like I need to work on my recovery because there's something there a tool I can use to get it where I need it to go. But when I speak with people, when I talk to my sponsor or sponsees or share, being sincere is so important because if I'm not, and I'm not saying I'm 100%. I'm sure there's times out there that I was wanting to be sincere, but I was sincerely just saying something to make you feel better. Like I wasn't
I feel like
really
there's a
thinking
tone.
that.
I feel like there's a tone in there too. Like you can tell it. You can feel that tone.
Yeah. Because I
Do you
think some
agree?
people like need to kind of hear something maybe to encourage them. And but I'm not sincerely thinking it's going to go that way, but I think it's important for this person to feel encouraged.
Yeah.
And I've done that quite a bit. And maybe it's not good or maybe it's okay, but it's definitely not like I would have been before, just saying whatever I need to say to get my way.
Yeah.
And I definitely, not being sincere in order to make somebody think that everything's all good when really it's not. And so there's that balance for it because I think we all need a little encouragement when we feel like we can't, and yeah. So it's sincerity is a huge part of all this stuff that I think that we need to learn to do and learn to practice all the time. Because things can be like the same thing over and over again, or you see this, these programs are revolving doors. And it's like, well, okay, well, I really felt that, with this last person and like, well, I don't know if this person should be like that. And so how sincere do I really need to be? Like, do I need to connect? But that affects me. So it's like, here I am, like, picking and choosing who I want to be sincere with. I'm the one that's chipping away.
You're the one rotting away.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like things I gotta, even though I feel like it's a no brainer, but it's like surrender. I gotta make sure I stay plugged into being sincere about stuff because it can be easy just to say words, and not feel them. So.
And that's beautiful because what happens is like when you think about sincerity and if you're not sincere with yourself, like that's why they say honest sharing is the antidote to our disease thing. Honestly sharing where you're at with somebody else is the way you're sincere with yourself. Like if you're going to come out here and you're not going to be honest and sincere with yourself, then you are doing yourself a major disservice.
Yeah. Yep.
You're
and
going
it can
backwards.
happen without trying to.
And I think it's statistically proven when someone's like, yeah, and they swoop upwards in pitch.
Yeah, the question
That's
mark?
what you were talking about, the tone, Andrew.
Yes.
Like, it's like that means yes, but I don't really feel yes. Like, that's an absolute
sure?
that's an absolute sign of insincerity. Like I turn to people when they do that kind of yes, and I'm like lying. I'm like lying.
Yes.
I'm like, let's just talk about this one.
Yes.
Because I'm like, I have no belief in that yet. Yeah, like I can't even do it. My voice is so gravelly, but I can spot it. You can spot it.
You don't even have to say anything. You don't even have to go, hey, are you being sincere? They're not.
Yeah.
They're not when they're like, yes.
They know they're not. They know they're not.
Yeah.
Like as soon as I'm like, that's not the truth, they're like, okay.
God doesn't even allow them. God doesn't even allow them to do anything but be like, yes, I hope he believes me.
Right?
No, they're like, I hope he exposes it so we can really talk about it.
That's the far part. That part, Milan. I love that. All right. You got a question.
I do. Sincerity is the courage to show up as we are, not as we wish to be seen. Where in your life are you learning to show up with more honesty and less performance?
Wow. More honesty and less performance. In in meetings, when I talked about that time when I started sharing sincerely, being able to actually come out and be like, man, I'm struggling. I don't know what to do. You know, that was a shift where I could be honest in meetings. I could actually, let people in,
Mm.
finally let people into who I was as a man and who I wasn't, and who I wasn't. And it allowed me to build that proper support network around me, right? I could then go forward because I didn't have to process my way into everything I'm doing or saying, right? I'm being sincere, right? I'm just coming from the heart. And that was one of those, that was like an emotional time. That's where I did all that first year crying that I talk about, where I'm like, if you don't crazy ugly cry in your first year a few times,
Yeah. Oh man,
where
right?
your mom is like, I don't even know who that kid is.
Yeah.
But I don't think, my opinion, you're not going to stay clean long term. That's just a little saying that I say.
Yeah.
I hope you do, but cry, let that shit out, man. Let that
Some
shit out.
onions
It
have
wants to
tougher
come.
skin. Some onions have
It
tougher
Yes,
wants,
skin.
yeah,
yes,
but it
yes.
There's
wants to
something.
come out.
It wants to come out, bro. Let
It
that skin
does,
pop
yeah.
and just let it out because internally you can combust, man. Like it's almost like internal combustion. Like if you don't let that shit out, you can't lay in your bed and cry to yourself and let it out. Are you with me?
Mm.
Like you crying about your woes and all your problems to yourself at night, not being tapped into like a program or people that really honestly care about what you're saying. If you told them what is on your mind, you're never going to get out of that trap,
Yeah. Makes me
right?
think of like a water fountain. Like it comes out, it just circulates back in. It don't go nowhere. It's not like the river, you
Yeah,
know?
and the water's not
Hmm.
cleaner the next time it comes around.
Yeah.
It's just like coming around, and it gets a lot easier to stay in that rut, man. If you just like you think that you're gonna lay there and think about it and just cry it away, and then it happens another day. It only kind of gets worse if you don't have a way to just to get better, to be better. Why am I feeling like
Yeah.
this? Not just cry.
Yep.
Why am I feeling like this? That's a different cry that you'll come up with once you really realize the root of why you're crying. And then maybe somebody did something to you that's making you cry. So it's not your fault.
Mm.
It's just it's crazy because once all this once we stop using, we don't have drugs to just allow some areas in our brain to be okay with things. Right. There's
Yeah.
all these layered thoughts to go to things. And when we're on drugs, we can just be like, fuck it. Like we're all right because mentally we're cool. We got a little bit, we got a little buzz, and we can just plow through this thing and figure it out later. But if we come to the table sincerely, like you start that sincere process for yourself and being sincere with yourself and allow others
Mm.
to know who that true Andrew, Milan, Brandi are, um, this whole thing gets a little bit easier, man. Like I can breathe at that point because I'm not trying to layer up who I think I need to be for you
Yeah.
and who I think I need to be to show up. Like I'm just who I am. Like take me or leave me. And then when you realize like that's how we all get better and that's how we really form relationships in this program, it changed things for me. It changed things for me. This is when I realized that this is a commitment long term for me. If I want to stay clean the rest of my life long term, I have got to remain honest because that's the only way I've
Yeah.
gotten through these hurdles at this point. The
Yeah.
moment I feel myself being dishonest and not being able to tap into that God of my understanding, I know I'm starting to get a little, my disease is catching up a little bit. All right, but I got a lot of people around me and I have a lot of conversations throughout the day that like, if I'm off, I'm already on the phone with somebody. We're going to be talking about it. And the best way out of my head is a conversation with anybody, man, my neighbor, but especially with addicts. I got a
Yeah.
lot of addict friends, man. And I have to charge my phone a lot every day.
Me too. My watch too.
Look, my sponsor says this when he talks a lot. He goes, bro, my sponsor lives clear across the country, whatever, and he goes, my cell phone bills are high, but I'm not.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm all right. You know what I mean? Like I'm okay with having to get the higher up gigabyte, the higher up plan. Like because bro, I'm staying clean. It's my lifeline, man. It's my lifeline.
Mm.
Mm.
That's all my chats.
Yeah.
It's all my people. It's where I get everything. And so, bro, being sincere with yourself allows the whole world to really just fall in place naturally, man. And not
Yeah.
everything becomes such a job all the time.
Yeah.
It's not such a job. You don't have to do 7 things to be able to do that. It's like you're already flowing with that natural way of life that you want to, where you want to be. And if you're not being sincere with yourself in that moment, it's going to allow you to get around it, right?
Yeah.
Because you already got things in place. You're already being sincere with everybody around you. And hey, last week we already talked. I was feeling bad, right? Like it's coming on me again. All right, what we got to do? How we do it last week? What we got to get into some literature. We got to get into a meeting. Got to get on a podcast. So that's my answer. Love you. That
Love
was
And
a
it.
great
never
question.
think that somebody doesn't want to hear it. Like, oh, I felt like crap last week. I'm not going to bring it up again. Bring it
Yeah,
up again.
but everybody wants to hear it.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Yeah.
That's what people don't get. I hear it all the time. Oh, they don't want to hear that. I've been like that. And it's like,
You telling
man,
me he's
yeah.
gonna allow me to tell you where I'm at today that I
Yeah.
didn't even know I needed
Yep.
to tell you.
One of the things
Yeah.
that people mistake most often is that humans have a natural desire to help. Like,
Yeah.
like most people are so afraid to ask for help. But if you say, I need help, gosh, how much would you give to somebody you love? Like you would help
Yeah.
right away. And it wouldn't
Stranger.
be a burden,
A
it's an
stranger.
opportunity.
Yeah.
A stranger asks you
Yeah.
for help. You naturally feel like you want to help that person.
Yep.
Yep.
It's a natural tendency to want to help, yet we're all afraid to ask for it. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
The disease, man.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The free Dal sincerity is the courage to show up as we are, not as we wish to be seen. Where in your life are you learning to show up with more honesty and less performance?
Man, it makes me think of like I've got some really good friends that we've hung out with for years, and when I was hanging out with them when I was using, it was stressful and a little bit for me. Just the dynamic and the high energy, and I people pleased really big time. And so I would be stressed when we'd go there, but I wanted to be there. Like I wanted to, but it would stress me the fuck out. And so recently we've been going there again too. And it's so mellow. Like it's a totally different like feeling for me being there. Like I'm like, this is what I've been wanting. Like this is, I love these people, but I've also realized that I created a lot of that chaos in my head and then went home and it was just, yeah, I stressed myself out of anything. And so like I'm able to just go there and be me. Like I don't need to perform for anybody. I don't need to be a certain way, laugh at a certain thing. I could literally just be me. And that's such a good feeling. Like it's such a good feeling because I didn't want to be me at all before. And that's I think why, a lot of the line, if it wasn't lying to get drugs, it was lying to keep using them. And then also after my first couple of like made shares, when I really just kind of shook off those jitters, it was like, I'm just going to go and speak me, like I'm going to go and just be able to share like what, my experience, strength, and hope. And I don't have to make it sound like somebody else's, like I don't have to, I could say for what it is, for what I am. And that's again an amazing feeling because I think that's why I like to share so much because I lied so much and I wore so many different masks that today, like, get to know me. Like I know me now, so I want you to know me now. And and I don't have to perform for anybody. I don't have to, sound like other people do. And uh, and in my relationship, I definitely don't have to perform in a way of like I'm doing good, everything's good, it's good. Like I don't have to pretend that me and my husband are that we have a good relationship. We do. And and that performing thing is so exhausting. So exhausting. It takes so much effort to be able to do that. And even in like high pace or low pace things, to be able to be myself and be transparent and sincere about everything I say and do. It's a world that I wish, like I had found sooner, but I'm here today and that's really what counts. But if I got to perform something I don't want to do it. I'd rather just, it's not for me, should I say. If I gotta be someone I'm not, and I don't have the ability to be who I am, let me say it like that, then it's not as appealing to me, and I don't want to sound like, I don't know how else to sound like, I don't have time for that. Like, I'd rather be somewhere where I can be me. I'd rather, yeah, that's right. I'd rather be somewhere where I can, conversate with someone in a way that it's genuine, not fill in space. I hate pointless conversation. I really
I
do.
love that.
You don't have to
That's
worry
why I
about
like
whether they're being
texting.
genuine or not. You know what I mean? You don't want to be
Yeah.
worrying about whether that person's being genuine coming at you. Be thinking, where's the angle? Where's the angles?
Yeah. And as long as I know I am being genuine, if they're not, then that's definitely something they got to work on. And again, then it also, like, I'm very like, everybody's good at first no matter what to me. Like, I don't see the bad in anybody until they show it, and then it's hard to not see it. But so to me, like, everybody's sincere until I realize they're not, and I'm like, okay, that's their thing. I can still be here. I just know how far I want to go.
Give them enough
I
rope to
start
hang
with
themselves.
love, acceptance, and trust with people.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you,
Yeah.
I'd rather be burned occasionally
Yeah.
on that trust
Yeah.
than walk around suspiciously forever. I
People
Yeah.
be
refuse.
who they
I
are.
refuse
Yeah.
to let an asshole
Yep.
make me an asshole.
Yeah, they win.
And
Right.
yeah, I
Right.
won't do it. Like I'm happy to be hurt once in a while and be wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it doesn't happen as much as you
Then my
think. Like,
life
if you
is
just
just
give
so
someone that
much more
chance.
relaxed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Comes
it's
with experience
amazing.
Yeah.
though.
Yeah.
Comes with experience of being sincere the whole time, like leading into it. The
Yeah.
whole thing works.
Yeah.
Sincerity is the courage to show up as we are, not as we wish to be seen. Where in my life am I learning to show up with more honesty and less performance? Man, there's a whole pile of things that flew through my head for that. But you know what? The one that I'm gonna stick with after I was thinking is in my service for other people. Like,
Mm.
I actually am trying to do things with the other people's, best, best intentions towards other people in my actions. And, starting out for sure with my sponsees, like I feel like I'm definitely at this point really trying to take a more active role in looking at, like, if I was the one struggling, what would help me? Like, instead of being like, oh,
Yeah.
they're not doing that, you know, like, instead of that,
Yeah.
it's like seeing how my teaching style is wrong versus just calling them a bad student, you know?
Yeah.
And so it's something that the last couple months especially that I've really just been like, hey, you know what? Just I want to clean my side of the street on this one, and that has definitely been really just sincerely looking at what their needs are more
Yeah.
than what I want out of it, or more like,
Yeah.
like, we do run the show somewhat in timeline, you know what I mean, or how we present things, but it's not
Yeah.
just the Milan show to someone else. It's really about looking at where their needs are at and their stages are at. Like, what aren't they getting, and how else can I present that to give them another chance to get it? Because
Yeah.
it's real easy to kind of do your best and, "Well, I did that. Okay, let's move on." Because everybody does want to feel some progress. But I feel like
Yeah.
sometimes just, woo, let's stop for a sec. Let's figure this out. Let's figure this out. And then, sometimes it's even like, hey, I'll say, like, are you open to a real honest conversation about this? Like, I'm not trying to judge. I'm like, do you want the outsider's perspective of what's happening right now?
Yeah.
And
I love
and
that.
if they say yes, then it's like, okay, like, I feel like I'm trying to communicate this, and I feel like it's not getting received this way, and it's okay. Like, it really has strengthened my relationship with my current sponsees, like, 100%.
Mm.
And instead of being like, man, I can't wait to get him through the steps, like, I want to get him through the steps, but I don't want to get him through the steps and I'm still blind to the principles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Amen.
like it's
That's
it's
beautiful.
just like, whoa, like, you know, there's really no sincerity in that to me. And and
Right?
and that whole, the service, like really, I'm trying to pull the reins on days where I'm tired or feeling rushed, because I have three old people that live here, my father-in-law, my mom, and my stepdad. And old people don't run at the speed of a hummingbird like me. Like I
Yeah.
have to like, whoop, okay, stop. Listen to
Yeah.
the whole sentence and
Yeah.
see what they really need today. Like
Yeah.
I like that, to sincerely stop myself and get there is like, it's like watching me try to bench press 500 pounds. Like, like I'm just like, whoa, okay, I'm holding the chair. I'm like, whoa, spot me, Andrew. I'm gonna
My
try.
Yeah.
legs about to
Yeah.
break. I'm going down, son. I'm going
I'm
down.
going down.
But it's
Need
but
a
it's
spotter.
it's those moments that is the real service that they need. Sometimes people
Yeah.
just need to be heard.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
they don't need a solution. They don't even need help. They just need somebody to bounce it off of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let them talk till they can't talk anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. Okay. Andrew, you're up for another question for
Yes,
Brandi.
yes. Brand Dizzle.
That's
How
right.
do you, ma'am, know when you're falling into that rut where you're not being sincere with yourself? How do you know, and what do you do when you find yourself there?
I talked to my sponsor. I verbally process a lot with her. Like I've worked on very hard on not saying I'm fine, because
I
I'm
love that.
really, yeah,
That's
I'm
a
really
hard one.
I'm
good.
good. I'm fine.
Yeah, because it's one of those things. It's like, I sit there and I'm like, oh, I'm fine. I
Mm-mm.
acknowledge it, but I'm just going to stuff it, and if I get through the day without fully acknowledging it, it's a win. And it's really not a win at all. And so, being able to talk about it and like acknowledge it is big, but like I can't just acknowledge it myself either. I have to be able to share about it and give it light in order for it to for me to get back on track, because easily I can revert to the I'm fine. And it's either I don't want to deal with it, I don't think anyone else wants to deal with it. I've already done that before and it's still here, so I'm just gonna pretend it's not. And but that's not being sincere. That's not being the way that I want to be with with my spirituality, like with my struggles. Because the struggles, they are only real and when I say them out loud. So like if I don't have to like sit there and tell people that like I'm not feeling so sincere, they don't know that. And it's just like a snowball effect. So it's important for me to be able to like, dissect my how sincere I am being with myself. And a lot of times when I've talked with my sponsor, like I don't even go into the conversation thinking I feel like that till we start talking and I'm like, man, I
That's that part.
I yeah. That's why I
Hmm.
tell her you get paid the big bucks. And she's like, you don't pay me. And I'm like, but if I did,
Nicolette.
if I did, I would pay you big bucks. Because, like when, coming as addicts, we are very good at manipulating. We are very good at manipulating ourselves. Like it is just it's a war zone in there. In my head. I mean, it can be. It's not like that so much anymore, but it has potential for that. And so for me to be able to be honest with myself about what I'm feeling, yeah, I made it through the day without acknowledging X, Y, and Z, but it's still there, and it's making me not transparent, it's a little foggy kind of thing. And it's just for me, it's important to be able to recognize it. And even if it's with talking to someone else or hearing someone else struggles with something and me realizing, like I think that's something that I'm struggling with. But I think being able to acknowledge it, we're human, we're not perfect. That right there like is a sincere decision to work on that part of yourself. And why be any other way, really? I mean, I think that our brains or our old habits can kick in easily, even if it's not for toxic things. But how free do you want to be? Like how do you want how do you want to
Freedom!
Woo!
We'll get the call
Oh,
of
it's
the
so good.
Frida.
I love it.
Like the wolf
I
call
love it.
from the
Right?
Appalachian Mountains.
That's right.
Right? Yeah, I love it.
KJ comes flying in on his little
Oh
Serenity
man.
plane. Oh God.
I love
Hey.
it.
Hey guy, what's up, guy? What's up, guy? What's up, fella?
But yeah, I'm definitely grateful to be able to um acknowledge that I want, that in my life, and that being able to talk about it. And really a lot of times it's verbally processing. I'm talking about this and all of a sudden I'm really, oh, because I surface really, really well. I'm really good at surfacing. And so digging a little deeper, I understand that I need sometimes the layers are thick. Mine can be a little bit thick or sugar coated, I like to say. Like, oh, that's not bad.
You got
That's not
pickled
that bad,
onions.
right? Yeah, right.
Ew.
But yeah, that's my answer though. That was a great question.
Love that.
That is beautiful. And I have a quick flash question for both of y'all. Are you a Netflix or a YouTube person, Brandi? Like which
A
one would
Netflix person.
Netflix? What about you, Milan?
I'd say prime BritBox.
Okay, so look,
Yeah.
for you then, Nicolette or YouTube, Brandi, or Netflix, excuse me, whichever one it is, Nicolette or Netflix. Would you you think about like the money you put on whatever your YouTube or your Netflix or whatever? I think about like I would cancel all that shit. Netflix or Sean G.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, I'm
Yeah.
Sean G all day.
100%.
Netflix or
100%.
YouTube or Sean G. I'm giving it up, bro. I'm giving all
Yeah.
that. Cereal or Sean G. I'm giving up cereal, bro. I love
Yeah.
cereal, man. I love
Yeah.
cereal, but
You
Sean
love
G
I
all
don't know
cereal.
day,
about
bro.
I don't know about ice cream though.
Ooh, look, Nicolette
I'm
or
just
ice cream.
joking.
Oh, come on, Nicolette, Miss
Don't do that
Nicolette.
to me.
Come on,
Don't do that to It's Friday. It's ice cream day.
Oh,
We'll talk about
God.
that later.
That just made me want ice cream. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Bro, and I love ice cream too, but I got to get some Sean
I
G,
have
man.
fallen
Yeah.
prey to the ridiculous blizzard. Like
Ooh.
score-bar, turtles,
Mhm.
Oreo cookie, and
The one you
cookie
go
dough.
upside down with, and
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah.
But like it's so mine's so loaded with stuff. It's like ice cream in between it.
See, why did you have to go there, Milan? Why did you have to go there? It's like a little ice cream with that chocolate bar.
My
Yeah,
mouth is
right.
watering right now.
Oh God! All right,
Mhm.
let's
I love
pause.
that
Pause.
shit.
Okay,
All right, so where are we at? I'm
question
asking
for
you a
me.
question, Milan. Yes, good Lord. How do you, Mr. Milan, know and spot that place when you're starting to not be sincere with yourself, and what do you do about that?
Ooh, I think my little step 10s after having a conflict with someone. Like when I'm looking at it and I'm like, okay, where's my motive here? What am I doing? And then, quite often, I'll go to somebody like, could be you, Andrew, could be Bryant, could be young Gabriel, and I'll calibrate, because there's times where I'm like, okay, or fucked. Okay. I'm like, and I'm like, please this time just let me not be crazy.
Yeah, right.
But it is definitely through like the actual inventory of it. Really. And that's coming faster, man. Like I feel like sometimes I could be talking and inventorying my talk at the same
Flash
time.
inventory, flash.
Yeah.
Like and I really think that that's one of the ways that we recover in this whole process. Like not just recover from our addiction, but recover from our defects and shortcomings.
Yeah.
Is that eventually we are inventorying what we're going to say. I'm fixing it before it even gets out of the mouth.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah.
And so now, it's definitely through that. And sometimes it's actually in the midst of a prayer, like where I'm like praying about something and then I'm like, oh, but I'm forgetting this. And I'll see one other little part of it where I'm not feeling gratitude for, and then I'm like, why is that? What's going on there? Like there's
Yeah.
something there, like that uncomfortable or discomfort feeling. I'm like, there's something under those stones every time.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I don't get those strong negative feelings about something that isn't a problem inside me anymore.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's good.
You
Right.
know,
Yeah. Yep.
and what is it that I'm not liking? Like what is it? What is it at that root? And then that'll show me where I'm being sincere or not, because I'm probably putting on a face. That's okay, and then I'm like, this fucking
Yeah.
sucks.
Yeah.
That's okay,
Yeah.
Yeah,
but feel good.
and then
But
boom, the people pleaser has come into
Yeah.
action, and
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm still sitting there going, did I just people please again? Like sometimes
Mm-hmm.
it's like that autopilot is so like that guy's slick,
Yeah.
licky
it's
boy.
it's slicky. It's your slicky boy, and it's hard to take the wheel back from that dude. When
Oh,
he
Yeah.
grabs the steering wheel, he's like, bro,
because it
he's like
not
a
only
300
hurts you, it hurts your relationship with that other person by pulling
Yes.
out the reality. Like it's a double abrasion. It's like let it go, like let it go as it is, false,
Yeah.
Oh,
and there's no abrasion like externally or actually kind of don't like your own action and disappoint someone else.
by the time you
Mm-hmm.
turn around, you're laying in bed and you got Slicky Boy, aka this dude driving your bus blindfolded, pulling up to the mall, going
Yeah.
just running through,
Right.
just
He's like, we're
hitting
going to
all turns.
Dairy
Dude,
Queen to
we're
solve
going
this
there. Come,
problem.
come,
We're
come.
going to
We're
Dairy
gonna get us
Queen.
a blizzard. Come, 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 come. Hitting
All
everything
problems
inside.
are
Oh
solved with
shit.
sugar and
Yeah,
late night
yeah.
drive-throughs.
I
Man.
knew I could land that plane blindfolded, bro. I knew it. I knew it. It's crazy. All right. So how do I know when I'm not being sincere with myself? And then how do I spot that? And then what do I do? Um, it starts off for me like it's usually like a subtle thing for me. Um, just that subtle feeling inside, that uneasy feeling that you can chalk up to just having like a bad day at first.
Mm.
And then I start seeing myself throwing out those half truths, like you said, Brandi. I'm fine. I'm good. I'm fine. You just walk through it, not one, running from that conversation, not even knowing you're
Yeah.
doing it yet. And you just say you're tired when you know you're avoiding something.
Oh man, I would. Yeah. That would
Um,
be a go-to.
and then it's maybe a step that you need to call. Or, a lot of times it's an emotion I don't want to face. I'm running from an emotion. Like this over this Father's Day, I didn't want to call my dad because there was an emotion there. There was an anticipation of like I didn't know what the emotion was going to be and how it was going to come across. So then there's that
Yeah.
uneasy of like I can't control that situation,
Yep.
and so it's that's what I find myself doing a lot is running from an emotion. It's just a simple emotion, like this dude, like whatever it is going to pass. And if like you can feel that emotion, like you'll like the magic you're looking for is in the work you're avoiding. Whatever feel that emotion, because then you're
Yeah.
going to be more apt to be not running from it next time. It builds confidence, knowing that you can like handle a situation regardless of what pops up. And so it's that uneasy feeling that turns into like me running my mouth, just to run my mouth, and then sharing surface level shit at meetings just to share. That's why I don't, people like when I share or whatever, but I don't like if I'm like I don't need to share all the time. But like people love,
Mm-hmm.
I go through spells where I don't share at all for weeks, don't I,
Yep.
Brandi? And then
That's how
Brandi
you
will just
get.
be calling me out.
That's how you get called on. Yeah.
She'll just be calling. She'll be like, I don't even care who's got their hand up. Andrew, get in here and share. I haven't heard from you in a couple of weeks. And I love you for
Yep.
that. And I love you for that. It's just like one of my like times where I'm just like, I don't know, I'm just getting tapped in other ways. And
Yeah.
this podcast has helped me with that, but I'm getting off track. In those moments, and I see those certain behaviors, I'll start isolating a little bit, and then, but that's where I'm connected, man. I can't isolate now, bro. I have police in my
Yeah.
house.
Don't give yourself a chance to.
Y'all, meeting makers will send the troops to my house, man. I have like the
Yeah.
neighborhood watch at my house before I
Right.
know it, man. So look, and here's another big thing for me. This is what really popped up in my head when I came up with this question. Like that big red flag is when I start justifying things that aren't aligned with my spirit.
Ooh.
Like that's
I
like
like
when my
that.
spirit, like spirit, my spirit, man. When things are not aligned with my spirit, like I have this little red flag. It's like I get a little jingle bell ringing, and it's like, bro, I can't sit in that place very much, And if and it's easier said than done to get out of that spot too. Does that make sense? Like it's like a conniving little place to be in, and you don't really notice it sometimes. So it's maybe too late. Maybe you said something you shouldn't have at the time. Made an act that you didn't have.
You got paperwork to do now.
Yeah, yeah, just all paperwork. I hate that paperwork. Got to buy a new notebook and a new pen for that one bad decision or not leaning into being sincere today. But what helps me get back on track is y'all hit on it, man, doing that inventory. I can do that spot direct inventory right then, because a lot of shit is just easy. It's easy shit. It's easy day. It's usually a quick thing, but as an addict, we can make a mountain out of a molehill, and then 2 molehills together, bro. We ain't even breathing anymore. Yeah. We're like, man, we got the covers over our head and we're running from because we didn't want to call that person. And then our phone's ringing. Oh shit, phone's ringing. Oh, it can't be that person. You know what I mean? Like, we'll be running. It's crazy. But that's where I've been working a program. It gets easier and easier to do it. We practice makes perfect. I have a I'm robotic in my recovery today, man. Like, because bro, in meetings is where I lighten the load all the time. I can share in any meeting except for one. If I don't, because I can't raise my hand in it.
Whoa! I smell resentment.
I'm just saying, like I can go to any meeting in the world except for one that I can't. I'm
smelling a resentment.
And get some relief, right? Not just hear it, not just wait for somebody to call on me. Like, I can go get some relief. Because I've been doing it this long for so long, like I'm just so comfortable with it. Like y'all see me in meetings. I'm in meetings. Y'all make a lot of meetings. I make more. Except for if you're a couple people make more. They're just wild because they just in a dark hole. But like, I go to meetings to be in meetings to get something out of them, not to just be in a meeting for 14 hours out of the day. Even though those people, I understand, love those people just as much. But I think I got off on it a little bit, but that was my answer to my question.
Woo. You know what it made me think about when you were saying that? Your answer was on here: acknowledge, accept, and lead with love.
Yeah, I gotta write that down. Acknowledge, accept, and lead with love, man. Because I know I'm always coming from the right place at that point. Even if something bad happens at that point, God got me, man. Yeah.
That's all we can do is acknowledge, accept, and lead with love. I love that.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
We're at Brandi. You're asking me a question now?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. How do you respond when others in recovery how do you respond? I wrote this wrong. How do you respond to others in recovery who aren't being sincere?
Ooh, well, I mean, gosh, there's so many different types of insincerity. So, I mean, I think what I try to do is respond authentically. Like, I really am trying right now to hold my truth and accept your truth. Even if your truth to me is a lie, I'm going to try to validate it like it's the truth. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not just being like, hey, you're a liar, and then challenging all the truth. Like, that might be as true as they can be right now.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes, like, you should have seen them before. Like, like there's some people I know, like, that were really mean, and they're just a little bit gruff now, and that's really sweet compared to where they were. And so, like, there's some people, like, sincerity is a spectrum, not an absolute.
Ooh.
Like,
I like,
okay.
That's so true.
Yeah, like, I mean, I think though, like, inside people's own personal honesty, they're probably being as sincere as they can. Let's go back to the old Rosa Metzler. Nobody thinks they're the villain. Nobody thinks they're a culmination of their life experiences. And if they're not being sincere, like, maybe they've just never been given sincerity. Or maybe they don't even know what real sincerity is. Like, I mean, I have seen some truly pathological liars in my time. I knew a girl with 9 boyfriends who did not know about each other. like that just
Or
shattered
did
me.
That's more days in the week.
No, like trust
yeah.
me, and it was like she came to me. She
Bro.
came to me and told me about them all because it was like she had to talk to somebody about it. Like, and
Yeah.
it was after that I
Go
really
tell the
just was
priest.
like, I'm like, I don't know if I believe anybody ever. Because, like, you know, one guy thought,
Yeah.
he's like, I'm going to get her a ring. And I was like, boy, slow down on the jewelry shop. Like, I was like,
She almost has one ring for each
Yeah.
finger. She almost has like Phil
Yeah.
Jackson. Almost has
Yeah.
one ring for each finger. For each
anyway,
dude.
Oh man.
my point is that she didn't even see that as wrong.
Hmm.
Like, she sincerely liked all these guys and wanted to date them all. Like,
Yeah.
how twisted is that? So, I
She's-
mean, I think when
She was trying to start a cult.
breaking 9 hearts while trying to fill her own.
it was absolute insanity. But so, like, now, you know, I know that some people fakely show affection to me at a meeting. I'll take it. I don't care.
Yeah.
I know that my affection is real. I know that my greeting is
Yeah.
real. And so, yeah, I'm going to leave it that I respond authentically is my
And you
answer.
got enough. You
did.
have enough real love coming at you where it's like, bro, I don't need the fake shit. Just rolls off of me. Like it's not even.
Yeah.
I've got so
Huh.
much real love around
This-
me that it
huh.
just slimes off me.
This is a real hi.
Hey,
Yeah.
hey, good to see. Like not looking you in the eye, right? Like just like yeah, just barely. Yeah.
Dismissing.
I'm
Yep.
kind of farting
Yep.
and saying hi at the same time. Hi.
Yeah. While
I
getting
call
crop
that.
dusted.
It's
Getting
like
crop
shaking
dusted.
your hand and pissing on your leg at the same time.
Get to pull up your pant leg. I want to hit a bit of your real hair.
Yeah.
Whoever smelt it dealt it. Come on.
Oh, man.
Wasn't me. Wasn't me.
Are we complicating a fart
Somebody
right now?
shit their pants. All right, I'll take that question before we get off
It's
track.
too funny. You guys.
I love you
Come on,
guys.
pee-pee in the
This is a
bathroom.
I love
great
you guys
topic.
too.
This is
Listen,
like
This is a
great.
great one.
It really lightened my heart this morning. About
Oh, wait.
Right?
One last thing.
Yes.
Quote of the day from yesterday. If it's a matter of preference, life wins. That's really sincerity of a surrender. If it's a matter of
Yeah.
preference in any moment, life wins.
I like that. I like that. I like that.
Michael Singer from the Untethered Soul, in his surrender experiment, that was
Oh.
one of his things he said.
Nice.
And
That's
yesterday,
beautiful.
and
I
I
like
was
that.
like, whoa. So I tried to do that yesterday. I tried to do that, like all this. I had some crazy things come, and I was just like, okay, life, you win.
Yeah.
And my day was a million
Right?
times better. It was so
You
great.
surrendered. You
It
surrendered.
was like,
Yeah.
it could have been an epically crappy day, and I had the greatest day.
You surrendered it,
I
bro.
love
Yeah.
it.
Starting out surrender
love
this thing,
that.
get answers. My man's getting answers. It's crazy.
All
Crazy.
right.
Go ahead.
Okay, sorry.
How do you,
I
oh,
love
you're
it.
fine. How do you respond to others in recovery who aren't being sincere?
That is a great question, Brandi. I'll kind of piggyback on what I was kind of starting or ending with the last time. Like when things aren't aligned with my spirit, I check it. So like I check my spirit, right? I check my own spirit to see if somebody's being sincere. When I'm tapped in sincere to myself, I can wrap my heart around what they're saying, right? I can process what they're saying, and then my own heart and my own sincerity will understand in that situation whether that's good for me to invest in, right? In real time, in real time, like you were telling your story there, Milan, and it kind of made me think about how I am in those situations. And then it's like, hey, is this person being sincere with me or not? Like you start processing that immediately. And then if it's somebody like you really know, like if it's somebody you talk to a lot and then they're not being sincere with you, like, bro, what are you talking about, man?
You just
What are
got to
you doing?
surrender that shit.
Like yeah, like are you like playing a video game while you're talking to me, or like you're not listening
Yeah.
to me, obviously, like you're doing something. And so and then what I do is I ask myself, have I ever acted that way in a situation, right? That's kind of a way where I go, man, like have I ever been in that person's position? And then how did somebody react to me, or how did I get out of that situation? Was I fucked up?
Yeah.
Like well, what happened? And that allows that pause button to take hold. Remember, I can kind of pause, right? Step back from the situation, like I'm on what is it? Saved by the Bell. Pause that shit, step back and like look at Principal
Oh,
Belden,
man, that's
whatever, and
funny.
just look at everybody and be like, all right, how can I position Kelly to where she likes me when I get done pausing this? I can position everybody to where I need them.
Love that show.
Right. And then pause back in. Right. And it's a really cool way to think about it, because that's really what we do in recovery, man. Like we did not have any of that when we were going, because there's just too much going on. There's too much and nothing going on at the same time, bro. We would have so much going on and nothing all at once. Be the busiest person and literally we didn't have.
Oh my God.
It was like the forks in the drawer, like
so all day, bro. We'd have all these plans.
I was arranging my house.
All these plans, right? You're up all night doing none of it.
I'm gonna be like, I feel like forks in a drawer right
Busy as shit all day. It's crazy, man. Look, and your brain's like, yeah, we're doing something.
Yeah.
Doing something. Like, what are you bothering me for? Well,
we're trying.
You didn't clean the backyard like you said you were. I'm busy.
Yeah. Doing what?
Don't you see me doing something here? Shit. All right. I don't even know where that came from.
I think that was amazing. That might have been the best answer of the day.
Look, people grow into sincerity. I think you got to grow into it.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
We can only lead by example, man.
That's all we can do.
You can't sincerity shame a guy into sincerity.
And nobody's perfect.
Yeah.
Don't try to make yourself perfect, man. Deal with your imperfections, how you do, and that's how you inspire other people, man. It ain't about telling people how to act. Love you guys, man. This has been a beautiful morning. I'm gonna have a great day after this. I can already tell.
I know.
I'm already having a great day.
When you were saying, I gotta say it quick because I crack myself up sometimes. When I worked at this big old department store, and I was leading a couple of the departments, but I was fully active in my addiction. And I was like, if I walk around with a clipboard, everybody thinks I'm busy. So I always walked around with a clipboard, maybe a little pep in my step.
And then it's upside down. It's upside down when somebody looks at you. You got it upside down. Have you ever seen that? Where it's like, they're like really busy and it's upside down. And you go, oh yeah. I'm busy.
So I thought it was funny because I looked like I was busy. I was doing something important.
You check that one mark like 5 times. Same check mark.
Like sunshine's drawings.
I got 5 colors. I got 5 different colored check marks.
Oh man, the things we do. All right, how do I respond to others in recovery that aren't being sincere? So this one I thought was interesting because, first of all, anyone else's like sincerity or not sincerity, it's really not it's not my business, because that's what they got to go home with it. But having emotions and feelings, caring, and like really wanting and believing the best for people. When you see that they're not sincere anymore, I had to let it not affect me, like not be offended. Like I'd be offended by people not being sincere. Like, and even today,
how dare them?
How dare them? Especially when it's like, it's not the first time, and so I've had to just like, meet people where they're at, like, and I think that, like you're saying, it's not like, it's people become sincere or test out sincerity at different levels. I can't be thinking, okay, the person, this is their first meeting, they are not sincere, I'm not going to deal with them anymore. That's not fair to anybody or even to myself. And, but I think that, I've had to, like, in this program and seeing so many people come in and out and stay, and, I've had to tell myself, like, you can't take other people's, I want to believe everybody is sincere, but maybe they're not there yet. And so I'm not going to take it personally. And all I can do about it is be sincere to them and to myself about it. Because there's times that really, like, other people's actions would so offend me. And it's like, if they could see what I see, like, would they be acting like that right now? Like, oh man, they'll be back. And that's not my place at all. That's not my place. We got to deal with people in life in general that aren't sincere. People that pretend to be sincere and people that just don't give a shit.
Pathological liars.
And then, yes. And then there's people that genuinely are. And though there are ways to see who is being genuine or not, but sometimes it's not. And so until I get to that point, I just have to meet them where they're at. That's all I can really do. If it's at a personal level, then I definitely am holding them where they're at as much as I can, so I can keep my sincerity, and I don't have to do paperwork, or I don't have to
Paperwork, that's the thing.
alter.
I love that. That's a new thing.
Yeah.
It's gonna
I
happen.
I
love
love
it.
it.
I think I love it.
Yeah.
I don't have to alter how I feel in order to be able to fluff up their unsincerity. Like I do think, like I was saying, people, like, encouragement's different, but if someone's not being sincere, like it's just a normal conversation. There's not much to it. It's surface conversation. When it's going back and forth, and I can still be sincere myself, but it's like you just want to, like, open them up and be like, just say fuck it, like, just expose it all, like, this is a place to do it. Want to give people a space to be able to do that. And but you can't, like you're saying, you can't, you can only lead them to the water. You can't make them drink it. And so, maybe just making sure to portray my sincerity. It can be encouraging. I've heard people talk about things that I wouldn't want to talk about, and it gave me, like, okay, I think I want to, be open about that. And so me not being sincere in certain subjects, and someone talking about it and them being sincere has helped me also. So I wouldn't want it to ever change how I am. Maybe it, and I've learned to still be where they're at, and not just like, well, I'll give you 10%, you 5%, I'm giving you 50, like I just don't want to do that. And I want to be able to, no matter what, be myself and be
Yeah.
genuine with people. So
That's beautiful.
I love that.
It made me think real quick, Brandi. You were talking about the like other person's sincerity when it's not there is like that old person, that like the old frail person that like steals something from a place, and then like all you got to do is like hold on to their sleeve until the cops get there, and then you're like, all right. When the cops get there, you're like, here's the dude. Like you don't have to do anything, then you just let it go. Like you just kind of like, all right, well, you can have him. Like, all right, it wasn't nothing for me to give this to you. Like I listened long enough. You can have him. I'm done.
Right.
It's kind of funny. Great point.
Are you ready, Andrew?
I was born ready, sir.
Okay. Sincerity means we stop performing recovery and start living it, even when no one's watching. Where in your program are you being invited to go deeper into your sincerity?
Making my amends. Those the other there's layers to that amends process. When I first went around in it, like the ones like with my father, that was who I'm starting to get back in contact with. Like that one was done not face to face, one of those not face to face amends, and letter form and talking with therapists and just, in other ways we can make amends without being face to face if it keeps us alive at the beginning. So I'm starting to talk to him like actually, it was Father's Day that just passed. I don't think I even talked about this on this podcast, man. Like, my father, I still consider him my best friend. I haven't talked to him for years, talked to him for years. I've kept in touch, texting every once in a while. But, guys, like, and no shit, like I've talked to this man for like an hour plus almost every single day for the past like 4 days.
Whoa, awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, man. And like he wants me to come out there. I talked to him about maybe going out there on Wednesday. Like he's had some procedures done, and like I'm ready to get over it. I'm ready to like, just make amends with the whole thing, man. And yeah, it's pretty crazy because I'm getting ready. I'm thinking about moving here. Sometimes there's a lot of things going on in my life, man. I gotta come to terms with these things, and like the man is not in good health, and like. It makes me tear up when I think about it, man. Cause like, I love that dude, he's an addict, so I've actually, when I've been talking to him, guys, I'm not shitting you, man. I've told him about this show, and then I told him how I'm just living by, I haven't thrown any of the program or anything on him, but I've been talking to him, and he's like, just, asking me intuitive questions, like not like that silly shit we used to talk about. Like he wants to know about his son, and he's just like, and I've been telling him I'm living by spiritual principles today, Pops. I told him how I hadn't drank. He said something about, we were talking about, I asked him are you still, we still playing around? And he's like, no, but he's had these procedures. So they are giving him some kind of pain pills or whatever. And he's doing it by a doctor. And I wasn't even trying to get into all that. I don't judge him. It's great. He sounds great in terms of mentally. And so when I don't even know what I was going to say. What I was saying, this the whole
talking
thing
about hitting the program and how you were talking about the program.
Yeah, so I don't hit him with the program, but then he's asking me, and I'm like, Pops, I haven't drank for over 3 years since I went to treatment and all that shit. And we talked about when I did go to treatment and how he told me how uncomfortable he felt doing that, because he said, bro, the whole family just wanted you to get in that fucking car and leave for 30 days. And he was like, bro, I didn't want you to be gone. He said, everything in my body wanted me to come swoop you up and save you and be like, bro, you taking him nowhere. Right. And I didn't know that. Like, I didn't. So I remember him coming here really uncomfortably and be like, Drew, he was crying. He's like, Drew, all the celebrities do it, man. Just go do your thing. You are the one. Like I remember him uncomfortably hitting that to me. And I'm going, Pops, really? Like, what are you really? And now, and for
so
him
he
to
had
tell
false
me that,
sincerity in his statement to help save your life. That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting that you told that story right now, dude. There's a lot there.
It's crazy. So I'm just, I'm just coming to terms
that
with
man
that.
loves you, man. That man loves you.
I know.
It's a beautiful
I love
thing,
him,
really.
Man. Shout out to Pops.
Yeah.
Love you, Pops, right. Man. I do.
Love you,
I'm
Pops.
done. I can't talk no more. I love y'all, man.
I love you.
I love you too. That was beautiful, Andrew. You're beautiful. And you're my brother. Sincerity means we stop performing recovery and start living it, even when no one's watching. Where in your program are you being invited to go deeper in your sincerity? Friedel.
Friedel. A lot of it's when no one's watching is a big thing, but the beauty is, like, if I'm being sincere, how I am when no one's watching and when someone's watching is the exact same, but I think that, I don't know if this will answer the question, but it made me think about this because I'm doing something new with my sponsor, and I'm doing a family tree, but like, it's not like who's in this. It's like, it's the nitty gritty. I'm trying to figure out where the patterns in my family is. And so I got to talk to a bunch of family, and I'm having a reunion coming up. So it's a perfect time, because that's the part that's really going to fill the board, my mom's side. And so, and of course it's not like when no one's watching, but it's something that I'm looking forward to be able to do that in the space that I am today. I wouldn't want to do it before, but I genuinely want to. I want to dig deeper into things, and but at the same time, it's intimidating. To start it is big, and
daunting.
So it is, and so I'm gonna start it. I might even start it today. We'll see. Maybe, I don't know. But it's that's the kind of stuff I got to do. I get to do when no one's telling me to do it. Yeah.
Oh, I love you, Brandi.
I
Get to do that shit today. Thank you.
When no one's telling me to do it, and it's like, this is the thing. Like, this is who I want to be. I want to know this kind of stuff about my family, and all around about myself too. It's crazy because there's like multiple broken families, divorces, addiction, jail, treatment. I mean, they're all going to be the same. My sponsor told me, she's like, leave space. She's like, I know how you like to write, so leave a lot of space, because I write like I talk, a lot of detail. I just
paperwork.
Just how it is. Yeah, right. And but that's fun paperwork, I think. But being myself when no one's looking is just as comforting as being myself in front of other people. I know who I am today, and I know who I am today, but I'm excited to get to know more of myself. Like, this Brandi that I know today is not all that's there. There's so much more about myself, and that I can learn about. And I am sincerely excited for that, grateful for that. And so, like, I don't want it to be when no one's looking. I want it to be all the time, because it's easy to even, even if you're not trying to be a certain way around other people versus yourself. Because how I am to myself, how sincere I am to myself, does portray on how I am with other people. And I think it's important for me to always be like that. Always make sure I'm being sincere with all of my thoughts and all of, I mean, even with the, digging into this and the questions and stuff like that, like, these are questions that I really want to know. I really want to answer. I want to get more into. And so I don't know if I answered the question, but I really made me think about the family tree and how
Beautiful.
digging into stuff like that, like maybe what made me think about it was like, I'm going to do my homework without my sponsor reminding me to do it.
I got this. I got this.
I love homework though. I love homework and due dates and so.
You're
But
doing
I've been
step work with the
procrastinating on
last
this one.
person that you did drugs with. It's funny.
Yeah. Yep, exactly. So that's
Beautiful answer.
Oh, I love that. Sincerity means we stop performing recovery and start living it, even when no one's watching. Where in my program am I being invited to go deeper with my sincerity? And, really what I would say it is for me is through this journey into surrender, it's about my faith. It's about my faith that my higher power will remove these defects, will help me with these shortcomings. And like, because when I hold on to being the one working on all my stuff, which really was just kind of starting to make me crazy again. Like when I was holding on to that, that there was an unmanageability because I wasn't good at removing them and it was never going to happen. And then I had a different hamster wheel. Instead of it being about a substance, it was about anger, or it was about compassion or tolerance or acceptance or whatever it was it was starting the hamster wheel again. And I could feel that. And it was plateauing me. And it's just like, as I'm building my faith and focusing on the surrender part of that and the gratitude of that and the prayer that's involved for that, and like this whole combination of things, it's really like I'm getting a much more sincere sense of that faith. Like, just the word faith, like what that implies. It's like, it literally has to be sincere for it to work.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Like you can't have no faith and then all of a sudden you're acting faithfully. Like, there's, it's like telling lies. And saying, there was honesty
I'm honest.
in there
I'm
somewhere.
honest. I'm honest. Just stealing their shit.
But
it's great.
The thing is that it wasn't that I didn't feel the energy of the universe, and I wasn't. But it's like what I truly had faith in its inclination or desire to do for me is changing.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I can believe in something, but not believe it's going to do that for me. And so it's a different type of faith.
Wow.
That's layered belief, man.
Yeah. But it's totally true. Like, you know what I mean? It's in the same that it's like, I believe that person likes me. I don't believe that person fully loves me. And I don't believe that person's telling the truth to me, but I believe in that person. And it's the same thing with my higher power, is that it's an evolving relationship, but it's
what you believe.
It's how I'm changing myself that is changing this relationship.
Yes. I feel that with my marriage.
Like
100%.
if I don't pray, if I don't stop fighting the defect and start, accessing the surrender, then nothing is changing.
Yeah.
You become what you believe.
I'm not doing my part in building that relationship with my higher power. And when I'm not doing that, then I'm a stagnant turd. Needs some flushing.
Yeah, stagnant turd.
Yeah. So
that was good.
We're at 10:47. Everybody's done 2 rounds of questions. What's up, guys? Where are you at for time?
We do a quick lightning round. I'm tapped out, man.
I feel like we can leave it right here. I feel
Let's
like
do
that,
it.
like,
Let's do it, man. I
like it
love
was
you guys.
Dude,
beautiful.
this has been great, guys.
I really don't think a lightning round is going to make it any better than it just
No.
was.
You're
That
right.
last round of answers, I've loved every single morsel of today.
So much good stuff, you guys. I love
Yeah.
you guys.
I
And
love
you know-
you guys, man.
You know what? There's nothing but sincerity in my love for you. Truly, guys.
Right.
That was just an epic journey of love,
beautiful, man. I
friendship,
love y'all,
and
man.
sincerity. And I feel that, is one of those things where I feel like I'm going to walk away and just feel all day like I learned something. And there'll be stuff turning over from our conversation in my mind all day.
One of my new top 5 spiritual principles right here. Sincerity, man. But seriously,
Yeah.
love you guys.
Love you guys.
Yeah.
And everybody out there,
Love you.
tune in next episode for more
guys.
recovery fun. Bye-bye.
Sincerely
I
love
love you.
y'all.
I sincerely love you. Please help us help others. If you've liked what you've seen here today, please subscribe and share this podcast and help us get to 100 followers. We're looking for interaction with our audience. So please email recoveryfreedomrising@gmail.com or contact Milan South Okanagan Starcic on Facebook with questions, topic suggestions, or just comments. We'd love to hear from you.